Quebec filmmaker and producer Jean Marc Vallée has died. His representative says he died suddenly over the weekend at his cabin outside Quebec City. Vallée was acclaimed for his naturalistic approach to filmmaking. In 2013, he directed Dallas Buyers Club, which earned multiple Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. He was also known for the hit HBO series Big Little Lies and Sharp Objects. Jean Marc Vallée was 58. Well, for more, we have reached Jack Bloom. He's the executive director of Reel Canada. So, Jack, thank you so much for making some time for us today. Jean Marc Vallée is a filmmaker that you had come to know over the years. So, wondering what you're thinking about today.
Well, it's an enormous loss. The entire Canadian film community is reeling from this. Jean Marc was extremely well loved. He was a very, very personable, lovely guy, and an original voice. And we're all just quite shocked.
And what are the films that you think most people would know when they maybe think of him? And is there one in particular that you think perhaps had the biggest impact? Well,
C.R.A.Z.Y, which he did in 2005, exploded onto the Canadian and international scene. It's the story of a young man in a Quebec family dealing with his sexual identity. And it's so original and unique. It's such an amazing analysis of family and Quebec identity and personal identity. And it had an enormous impact. There aren't very many movies that, when you check them out on Rotten Tomatoes, have 100% fresh rating, and it is one. It was named one of the most important top 10 Canadian films of all time, and I think that really is one that he will be remembered for.
And what are some of your favorite memories of him during your time with Reel Canada?
Well, he was a fantastic supporter, and he really was invested in having his films seen not just in Quebec, but in English Canada as well. And he had a fantastic rapport with young people. So among the audiences that we screen Canadian films for are high school students. And I remember well, back in, it would have been 2006 probably, he did a video call with an audience of students who had just seen the film. This is like pre-Zoom. They were a bit, they loved the film and were a bit impressed that the director was joining them, and a young woman stepped up to the camera to ask him a question and said, "I love your film." She had a streak of blue in her hair. She said, I love your film, and he shot back, "Oh, I love your hair." And it immediately just loosened everything up, made it very, very friendly and easy for them to relate to him. And he was very, very invested in the next generation and young people, and in having his work reach audiences across Canada.
And, you know, there's been a lot of reaction today on social media from big-name celebrities, including Reese Witherspoon, talking about this loss. So wondering how, from your perspective, how the film community is sort of taking this loss.
I just think we're still processing it, honestly. It's so unexpected. I understand that he was on the verge. I think we were expecting for him to be going to camera on his next project, which I understood was called John and Yoko, and it was about the famous bed-in in Montreal. And it just is heartbreaking that we won't get to see that film. So I think we're all still trying to make sense of this. It's pretty big. Actors in particular loved him. I mean, this is how he really ended up breaking in the U.S. was that after Dallas Buyers Club, with those amazing performances from Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto, that's when Reese Witherspoon got a hold of him right away. She wanted to get started on Wild before Dallas Buyers Club was even released. Her and Laura Dern and Jake Gyllenhaal. He was really, he got a reputation as an actor's director. So A-list actors really wanted to work with him and have him tell those stories, give them the opportunity to shine the way he did.
Okay, and Jack, just finally, is there any film that you'll be watching in the days to come in order to try and remember him?
Well, you know, there were many. Café de Flore was quite great. But C.R.A.Z.Y really stands above and beyond all of them. And I think that's what he'll be remembered for. It's such a unique film. The soundtrack is so extraordinary. He used music in a really original way, and I think that's the one that his legacy will be pinned on. And I urge people to get out and see it, get a hold of it, stream it somehow. It's an extraordinary movie and personal, moving, and wonderful.
Okay, Jack, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us at a time which, of course, is quite difficult for the whole film community. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Jack Bloom is the Executive Director of Reel Canada.